Imagine living in a world where every sunrise begins with one goal: survive. Around 15,000 years ago, somewhere across Eurasia, that was everyday life. Hunting, gathering, avoiding danger, and hoping to see another morning were all that mattered. Then, one quiet night beside a campfire, a pair of glowing eyes appeared just beyond the edge of the light. Instead of charging or fleeing, the mysterious animal simply watched. That quiet encounter may have sparked one of the most remarkable partnerships in history. It's incredible to think that history can change because neither side made the obvious choice. Sometimes the smallest moments reshape the future in ways no one could predict. Great relationships often begin with simple curiosity rather than careful planning. If you've ever wondered how one unexpected moment can change everything, comment 1. The journey from wolf to dog is far stranger than most people imagine. It wasn't the result of an ambitious prehistoric hunter deciding to tame a fierce predator. Nobody set out with a master plan to transform wolves into loyal companions that would one day nap on couches or greet people with endless excitement. The process unfolded naturally, slowly, and with plenty of surprises. Modern dogs aren't a completely separate wild species. From a biological standpoint, they're a domesticated branch of the gray wolf. Whether it's a towering German Shepherd or a tiny Chihuahua, every dog shares ancient wolf ancestors. Somewhere in the distant past, two very different species began interacting in ways that forever altered both of their futures. Nature often writes better stories than humans do. The greatest changes aren't always designed. They emerge because countless small decisions add up over time. Evolution has a remarkable talent for creating solutions nobody expected. Scientists still debate exactly when this transformation began. Current evidence suggests it happened sometime between 15,000 and 40,000 years ago. That broad estimate exists because ancient DNA is difficult to interpret. Archaeological discoveries are incomplete, and fossil remains don't come with precise dates. Even with those uncertainties, one fact is clear. Dogs became humanity's first domesticated animal long before horses, cattle, or goats entered human society. This happened thousands of years before agriculture reshaped civilization. People hadn't mastered farming yet they had already begun forming a unique relationship with another predator. That alone makes the story extraordinary. Sometimes the most important breakthroughs happen before anyone realizes they're making history. Progress isn't always connected to technology. It can begin with trust. Many people picture an ancient hunter rescuing wolf pups, raising them by hand, and eventually creating faithful hunting companions. It's a touching image, but evidence suggests reality was very different. Adult wolves are not easily domesticated. Even when raised by humans from birth, they remain fundamentally wolves, carrying instincts that never fully disappear. Modern wildlife experts understand this well. The idea that early humans simply tamed wolves through determination alone doesn't fit what science has learned about wolf behavior. Instead, researchers believe something much more fascinating occurred. Wolves gradually domesticated themselves. Rather than forcing change, nature rewarded flexibility. Survival often belongs to those willing to adapt instead of those determined to resist. As human hunting became more successful, camps began producing reliable food waste. Leftover bones, discarded meat, and scraps created a steady food source. unlike anything else in the environment. Opportunistic wolves quickly recognized the opportunity. Not every wolf approached human camps. The boldest or most aggressive animals usually stayed away. The ones that lingered nearby were calmer, less fearful, and more curious. They cautiously waited around campfires, collecting leftovers without provoking conflict. Those calmer wolves consistently found food, while more cautious or aggressive wolves often struggled by comparison. Over countless generations, this subtle advantage favored animals that tolerated humans more comfortably. Small advantages, repeated over many generations, can reshape an entire species. Sometimes survival rewards cooperation more than competition. If this idea changes how you see evolution, comment 2. Natural selection quietly strengthened these traits. Each new generation inherited slightly lower fear responses, greater curiosity, and increased comfort around humans. No one intentionally designed the process. Evolution simply rewarded behaviors that improved survival near human settlements. One of the strongest pieces of evidence supporting this idea comes from an extraordinary experiment conducted during the 20th century by Russian geneticist Dmitry Belyaev. Working under difficult political conditions, Belyaev studied silver foxes. Rather than selecting them for appearance, speed, or intelligence, he bred only those individuals that showed the least fear and aggression toward humans. The results were astonishing. After only a few generations, the foxes didn't just become friendlier. Their ears became floppy, their tails curled, their coats developed patches of different colors, their faces became rounder, their behavior changed, and they actively sought human attention. They even began communicating more like domestic dogs. Belyaev had selected only one characteristic, tameness, yet an entire package of physical and behavioral changes appeared alongside it. Scientists now describe this phenomenon as domestication syndrome, where selecting for reduced fear also influences many other traits connected through biology. The experiment demonstrated something remarkable. Profound change doesn't always require tens of thousands of years. Under strong selection, dramatic transformations can happen surprisingly quickly. That insight gives scientists a new perspective on ancient wolves. The earliest wolves living alongside human camps may have started looking and behaving more like dogs far sooner than anyone once believed. Growth often begins with a single quality. Change one important characteristic, and many others may follow naturally. Life has a way of rewarding positive momentum in unexpected ways. Of course, wolves weren't the only ones changing. Humans had to change as well. At some point, someone made a simple but life-changing decision not to throw a spear at the calm wolf sitting near the fire. Maybe they saw it as harmless. Maybe they noticed it could warn them when danger approached. Or perhaps they simply grew accustomed to its presence. Whatever the reason, tolerance slowly turned into cooperation. Genetic evidence suggests this didn't happen in just one place. Similar relationships likely developed independently across different regions, including East Asia, the Middle East, and parts of Europe. Instead of a single legendary beginning, the partnership between humans and wolves emerged repeatedly wherever the conditions were right. History often repeats itself because certain ideas simply work. When two sides benefit from helping each other, cooperation tends to appear again and again, even without communication between distant cultures. As humans recognized the advantages of having friendly wolves nearby, they began giving them more opportunities to stay. These animals warned camps about approaching predators, helped locate game during hunts, and acted as an early security system long before walls or locks existed. In return, wolves received dependable food, shelter, and protection. What began as a scavenger's strategy slowly became a mutually beneficial alliance. Each generation strengthened the connection until both species were influencing one another's evolution. The greatest partnerships aren't built on one side winning. They're built when everyone becomes stronger together. If you believe teamwork can reshape history, comment 3. This relationship transformed far more than behavior. It reshaped the canine mind itself. Dogs aren't simply polite wolves. Their brains developed abilities that make them uniquely connected to humans. One of the clearest examples involves communication. Point toward an object, and most dogs instinctively look where you're pointing. Wolves generally don't. Even wolves raised by humans from birth struggle with this behavior, while young puppies with very little training often understand the gesture naturally. This remarkable ability wasn't taught. It was inherited through thousands of years of evolution alongside humans. Sometimes intelligence isn't about solving puzzles alone. It's about learning to understand someone else. Another striking difference is eye contact. Among wolves, staring directly into another wolf's eyes is usually a challenge that can lead to conflict. Dogs, however, evolved to do the opposite. They comfortably look into human faces, searching for information, reassurance, and emotional connection. Even more remarkable, scientists have discovered that when dogs and humans maintain eye contact, both release oxytocin, the hormone closely associated with bonding between parents and infants. In other words, simply looking into your dog's eyes strengthens an emotional connection inside both of your brains. Evolution somehow transformed a predator into an animal biologically wired to form deep emotional attachments with people. Perhaps the strongest bonds don't require words. Sometimes trust is communicated through nothing more than a glance. Dogs also developed a tiny facial muscle that wolves either lack or possess in a much less developed form. This muscle raises the inner eyebrow, creating the familiar puppy dog eyes expression. That irresistible look isn't just adorable. It likely became more common because humans consistently responded to it with care and protection. Over countless generations, dogs evolved facial expressions that encouraged people to nurture them. It's almost as though dogs discovered the perfect shortcut into the human heart without ever realizing they were doing it. Nature doesn't always favor the strongest. Sometimes it favors those who know how to connect. By roughly 10,000 years ago, as humans began settling into permanent farming communities, dogs were already woven deeply into everyday life. Archaeological discoveries reveal something especially moving. Human graves from this period often contain dogs buried carefully beside their owners. These weren't animals discarded after death or treated as food. They were companions honored with respect. In some burials, a human hand even rests gently on the dog's body, suggesting an emotional bond powerful enough to continue beyond life itself. Think about what that means. Long before written history, before cities, kingdoms, or organized religion had fully developed, People were already grieving their dogs and choosing to rest beside them forever. Love leaves traces that survive long after civilizations disappear. Sometimes a single burial tells us more about humanity than an entire monument. That emotional connection has never really faded. Today, people still celebrate their dogs' birthdays, buy them comfortable beds, and spend far more than necessary on toys, treats, and even tiny jackets. The details have changed, but the feelings remain surprisingly familiar. Across 15,000 years, one thing has stayed almost exactly the same. Humans don't simply own dogs, we care about them as family. After domestication began, humans gradually became active participants in shaping dogs rather than simply living alongside them. Selective breeding introduced incredible diversity. Different dogs were developed for different purposes, tracking game through forests, herding livestock across open fields, guarding villages, pulling sleds through snow, assisting soldiers, or simply providing companionship. Over thousands of years, one ancient wolf lineage gave rise to an astonishing range of forms and personalities. The speed of this transformation is extraordinary in evolutionary terms. Around 15,000 years is only a brief moment on nature's timeline. Yet humans produced everything from towering Great Danes to tiny dachshunds, lightning-fast greyhounds to sturdy bulldogs. The original wolf body plan, refined by millions of years of natural selection, was reshaped into hundreds of unique variations, each reflecting a different human need, or sometimes just human imagination. Creativity can accomplish what necessity begins. Once survival is secure, curiosity starts shaping the future. Most of the dog breeds we recognize today are actually quite recent. During the 19th century, organized breeding programs established detailed breed standards that defined exactly how each breed should look and behave. What had once been practical breeding for hunting or protection gradually evolved into a carefully managed system focused on appearance, temperament, and consistency. Human preferences accelerated diversification even further, creating the extraordinary variety of dogs that now exists around the world.